Hey guys, it's Action Figure Fridays once again in effect. And as always with me is the outstanding, astonishing, I'm finding new words for Charlie Rocket cosplay.
Pow, 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 pow.
Pow pow.
Hello.
And if you didn't watch last week, you better rush back down to that video that's in the left corner of the screen. My left. Yeah.
My left.
My left, not your
You're
left.
right.
You're right. It's right there. It says Build a Figure Kingpin Part 1. Or some snarky thing about Fisk. I don't know. It'll probably say Kingpin's a pimp. Because that's what Charlie Rocket called him last week. So if you'd like to see Charlie Rocket call Wilson Fisk a pimp, tune in to that video. But anyway, Charlie Rocket, why don't you take it away?
Kicking it old school.
Whoop, whoop.
With the Puma.
The Puma.
Puma. Well, he looks like a Puma, let me tell you. That's about it. No.
Puma was always like that gray area. Like, you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, or he started out as a bad guy and then he became a good guy. He was like...
I just want to say, this is packaged so weird. Like, he's like inside of...
He's inside Fisk.
Fisk's.
I'm inside you, Fisk.
We're inside you. So, as you saw, he came with Fisk's body. Bam! So that means you gotta get Puma. They're forcing you to get this ridiculous character.
I can't, I don't know, like
Sabretooth became an actual animal.
I get that they're like people out there that are just completists and they're like, we want this and we want that. And I know they can't put out like 100 Spider-Man figures without everybody raising. I mean, like, there's a Spider-Man figure with literally every wave of Spider-Man figures, which makes sense because they got to have Spidey in there somehow. But at some point, they're going to run out of versions of Spider-Man to put in these. And that's where, like, dudes like Puma come in. They fill in that gap of where they have to put a certain amount of figures to build a figure, but do they really?
Right. Do we really need this guy?
I don't know.
All right. Well, his body is pretty basic. They just colored it the colors of Puma. It's just a basic, like, action figure man body. They have I guess in the arms is where it differs, because that's where they kind of have some texture that looks like fur. And then they've got the fur on the arms right here and some claws going. But his little armband with the feathers here is separate. And I'm sure if you wiggled it enough, it's just going to like come off at some point.
Puma Native American?
I don't know,
like,
but he's got a lot of feathers going on here. So
where's his box? Let's read this while you're doing that.
Making me question who you is, Puma.
Thomas Fireheart. Yeah, that sounds Native American to me. Transforms himself into a half mountain lion, half human known as Puma.
Mountain lion.
Genetically engineered Thomas Fireheart. So genetically engineered means he was experimented on.
Yes. He's got some fur at the bottom, which is also separate, like, because you can move it and stuff, which is very weird. He's got some gross Puma feet. Puma human feet.
Why they gotta be gross?
They got claws and they're a little bony.
He didn't cut his toenails.
Huge. He surely did not. That's the kind of person who would cut you in the night with the toenails. He's got this necklace that also is separate. You could probably just take it off over his head because it's so big. Yep, look at that. Bam. Slide it right back on. And yeah, that thing is not staying anywhere at all. And he's got a big old belt with an E on it for...
Edward? Elvis?
Effort.
Elf?
E for effort.
Maximum effort.
Which is also separate. It doesn't slide too much because his hips don't lie. Okay? Pow, pow, pow. And he's got a thick old body, so it's not going anywhere, right? Oh, the knife. It's wonderful. He's got a cool Puma face. That's about the only thing that I think is cool on him. because the rest is pretty basic stuff that's just like whatever. But his face is super detailed. He has each individual tooth carved out there. And a super like puma-like face. Some pointy old ears on the side. He's got the hair going, kind of like saber tooth. He's got some hairy, pointy eyebrows.
I feel like they could use that and make like
cat-like eyes.
90s X-Force Wolfsbane or 90s X-Force Feral. Something like that. Like they could easily like add some hair to it, put it on a girl's body, and boom, now you've got like
Surprise,
some X-Force figures.
You're done. Yeah. It's got a cool snarl going there. Yeah, but that's about it. Yep.
Puma. Cool. I'm going to give you this one to do in a minute.
Coolio.
All right. So, in that category, again, of figures I didn't know I wanted, we've got the Red Goblin. Now, who's the Red Goblin, you might ask? The Red Goblin is the love child of the Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and Carnage. So at some point, Carnage had his way with Norman Osborn, and the Red Goblin was born. I do know that when this comic came out, it was like a huge deal for some reason. It was one of these, what they call speculator books. So like the comic book stores, they hear about books that are like first appearances or death of, and so they put out just enough for the general populace to get a copy of it, and then they put the rest up because they're supposed to be like collector's items at some point. This, I don't know. Again, when it came out in the comic, I wasn't super impressed. The figure, while cool, I just don't care enough about the Red Goblin to be like, I need Norman Osborn to have the powers of Carnage. It just seems like another Venom mashup. And that seems to be Marvel's go-to for a while, is like, hey, we don't have a Catastrophe, let's have a Venom mashup. I'm like, who cares? Like, it's the same thing happens every time.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's their Deus Ex Machina, I guess, for crossovers. But, let's see. So, you can see that he's got some beady little yellow eyes. He's got some eyebrows that are kind of like Carnage's eyes above his eyes. His jaw is actually open, but it's not hinged. So like you can kind of pull down on it and it opens a little bit. And he's got like yellow gums inside, or a tongue maybe. He's got a really pointed nose, which is, I guess, more like the Green Goblin's mask than like Norman Osborn. His pumpkin bomb that he comes with looks like it's got like either wings or Carnage eyes on it, which is also kind of a little weird. If you look at the bottom of it, it's got teeth with an open mouth. Everything else is really pretty much painted on him. So like, the black on the red is all just painted on. He did come with like a little backpack of like Carnage goo or whatever. And he's got some that juts out of his wrists and also his legs. He's got a tail. This tail is not bendable, but it should be. Like, you should be able to bend this anywhere. And it looks cool, but without it being posable, I'm kind of just like,
yeah,
not really super interested in it.
Bend it like Beckham.
He's got some big old ears. Like, look at those ears, man. They like about the size of his head. And I guess, again, more like the Goblin features, which is fine. But again, I don't see him like making a huge impact in the Spidey world, because it's still just the Green Goblin. He's just got a new power set. I don't think he should have been like a speculator book or his own action figure. I will say that he is one of the harder figures to find because, as we've mentioned before, these figures usually come in sets of 7. And in those sets of 7, you've got, 1 or 2 figures that are short packed. So it's like 2, 4, 6, and then 7, 8, because there's like 8 figures in a case or something like that. So there's always 2 figures that you can't find. I'm pretty sure it's Red Goblin and either Silver Sable or Black Cat in this set. I guess if you're a Spidey fan and you want to, build out your Rogues gallery, that's a good figure for it. But personally, I don't care. Also, there's no glider. Like, I know a bunch of people online were going and taking like older Green Goblin figure gliders and just making their own gliders for him. They were customizing them and putting like a bunch of Carnage stuff all over it. But yeah, he didn't come with a glider, so he's just kind of standing there, and maybe his tail stands him up, and that's about it. So figure.
Standing there going, "Rah!"
But we're not here for him. We're here for Fisk. So
Here for the Fisk.
Here for the Fisk.
Okay, that brings us to Symbiote Spider-Man. Here he is. Here he is in all his glory. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. Yeah, no, I love Spider-Man. All right, and he comes with 2 different Fisk faces.
Angry Fisk face.
Angry Fisk face and brooding Fisk face. Bam. Shall save those for later. Alright, Symbiote Spidey. He comes with extra hands. So, right now he has 1 of each. He's got a fist and he's got an open palm claw hand. The other 2 hands are just another fist and another open palm in case you just want both to be claws or both to be fists. Pretty basic though. I mean, it's Spider-Man. He's just got some big old feet with claws on it. And
claws on his feet.
He's got claw feet and claw hands.
I mean, what's the difference between Symbiote Spider-Man and Black Suit Spider-Man?
That's what I want to know.
Other than the claws, like
the fact that this face looks stupid.
Yeah, I want to say that is the
eyes
costume
come off the face.
That came with.
You can, these can bend, so I would be careful with that. But,
is that like All right, so maybe. All right, so Spider-Man got this suit from the Beyonder or from Secret Wars. Like they found like a weird device that generated suits, or so he thought, and it ended up being the symbiote, right? I mean, that's the backstory. But what was happening was like he was wearing this new black suit and going around and being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But the suit was like draining his energy, and so he'd be like super tired and he'd go to bed early or something. And then the suit would go out with him in it.
Yeah.
And do a bunch of stuff and like beat criminals half to death and stuff like that.
Right.
And so he was getting like a rep on the street of like being, not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but kind of like your mean ass neighborhood Spider-Man. So I'm wondering if like the difference between Black Suit Spider-Man and Symbiote Spider-Man is that this is like the symbiote that took over at night, and he was like a little more venomy, animated. Like that's why the eyes are kind of jutting out. And that's why the spider looks different on his chest. I noticed that
Maybe
too.
Maybe so. Yeah, it's really like almost like lightning.
Yeah, it's like a big spider instead of just like your regular standard spider like Spidey's got.
Huge.
So
extra spider. Also, he's got the shoulder action like Black Panther from our other episode, but in the back, it's got some swole shoulder action back here. Yeah.
So this just says the Venom symbiote gives Peter Parker a black suit with special enhanced powers. That doesn't really tell us anything.
That tells us nothing.
Like, explain why it's different. Otherwise, we just got like 4 black Spider-Mans in like the last 2 years, maybe.
This one is probably really, really good at posing. He's got the really extra rock out ability. Extra back bends.
Not as posable as Black Panther.
No.
Nope.
But
he's got hunchback action.
He's got hunchback action. Ugh. So he can do some cool little Spidey garbage. I said garbage.
Spidey
I love
garbage.
Spider-Man.
Spidey garbage.
I need to stop making fun of him. I love him.
Everybody makes fun of Spider-Man.
Bam. Surprise. It's me, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think the last one came with Sandman
What's
Build-A-Figure.
Danger. That's what this.
Yeah, those feet are killing me though, man. Like, why?
Yeah, why do they have claws and why are they so big? Inquiring minds want to know.
I mean, is that why that's how somebody drew him?
Yeah, this looks like an art style.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. It's really weird to me that the eyes come off of the face. Because, like, who's that helping? No one. No one at all. Oh, and he's got a little diamond on his.
From what I heard, we're getting another one that's almost just like that in a 2-pack with Kraven from like the Kraven's Last Hunt story.
Kraven.
Which, Kraven's cool. We just got a Kraven figure a while back though too.
Right, we did.
So.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, pretty basic. Kind of random. Normally, I'm more excited about Spider-Man.
Yeah. They're just running out of Spideys, man. Like, there's only so many suits he wore.
Spideys, man.
Spideys.
Just like Spider-Man. Spideys, man.
Alright, let's build a Fisk.
Let me tell you, this feels really nice.
Does it?
Yes.
It's all like shiny.
No,
Ooh, it's all
like.
Ooh, it is. It's
he's
all
got
smooth.
a nice suit on.
Okay. Let's see. This foot goes here.
He's a smooth operator.
He's a big boy too.
Yes. Big boy.
Can we see that?
No.
Oh, I got the other layer. His whole jacket just fell off. So I don't know if we mentioned it last time. You can build 2 figures out of this. So one is Fisk, which we're building right now. The second one is that the Professor X figure that is coming out with his little flying chair or whatever. He comes with a Shadow King head.
Oh.
So you can build. Which arm is this? Is it this one? Okay. So you can build a figure Shadow King, and I've even seen people who have been taking his hands off, and they've been putting Venom hands on there, which looks really badass with that Shadow King head. The Shadow King head is like, you know, your typical Shadow King face, and he's got the little fez on. So just imagine this with like a fez and Shadow King head and whatever. We're going to give Fisk his regular stoic face for now.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a cool figure. He's a big meaty boy. His jacket comes off when you pop his arms back off. But you know, you could probably do it backwards, the whole backwards arm trick. And he's got a vest on. And it doesn't look too much like he's just wearing a shirt. He's got a black shirt under it, a purple tie. The tie's like a little shiny. He's got your standard Fisk bald head. He's got some big hands. Like those are some big Spider-Man pummeling hands. Or Daredevil, or whichever superhero he needs to go up against this week.
Right.
He's got like a little pinky ring on that hand. And he's got this pimp cane, as Charlie Rocket put it last week.
Pimp Shifter.
His pimp cane. He is a good figure, and I dig this. He is a good size. Like, look at how big he is compared to Spidey. And he can knock out the Spider-Man. The jacket is rubbery, and like Charlie Rocket was saying before, it feels really nice.
Yeah. Nice to the touch.
I unfortunately, like I said, if you want to build 2 figures out of this, that means you got to go buy another Puma. You got to go buy another Red Goblin. You got to buy another Black Cat. you got to buy another
So
Night
good.
Thrasher. And I think the only one you don't have to buy another one is Symbiote Spider-Man. Because that's
Yeah.
5. I don't
It's
know.
just the other head.
Maybe. I can't math right now. But yeah, this is a really good figure. Again, it's a good sculpt. It looks just like him. Very comic accurate. He's got some nice shoes. Like you can even see the alligator in those shoes. Like there's some alligator shoes right there. There's some like, you know, texturing and patterning. The other head is like angry face Fisk. And I noticed this before, like if you look on the inside, there's like a little jut in, set in kind of thing. And I was like, what's that for? And then I flipped it over and it's because like you can actually see inside his mouth. Like it's actually in there and they just put the inside of his mouth attached to the back. So, you know, you can get some good Fisk is yelling at you, angry with you action going on. He doesn't rock out. He's just too big. He does do the twist though. So he can, come on baby, do the twist. He's like got some chubby checker action going on there because he's chubby. This is a cool figure, guys. I would go for it. I know a lot of people are building this and then throwing the extra figures that came with it up on eBay or on Facebook groups or whatever. You know, if you want to build Kingpin, unfortunately you got to buy these parts, and they only come with these figures unless you buy the parts just on eBay or something. But yeah, pretty cool. I dig the Fisk.
Not too shabby.
Nope, not at all. So, you got anything to plug this week?
Yes. You can find me at Charlie Rocket Cosplay on any social media platform. You can also find me at Tip Tuesday Podcast. And right now it's on Instagram and Facebook. I am also a co-host for the Blurred View After Dark. Catch me there.
And you can find us at www.the-variant.com, facebook.com/variant covers, and on Instagram and Twitter at _variant_, and click subscribe. Check it out. You know, maybe tell your friends and get them to subscribe because they'll love it too. We do all kinds of fun action figure stuff every week. And there's always shenanigans. Yay! We'll see you guys next week.
Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward. To him, life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find a Spider-Man.